Hey, what's up, everybody? We're a week and a half into the league, so, it's almost over. Well, that's what everyone likes to say. If you are still playing the league and you want to accomplish some of those challenges, at least for me personally, that's usually what my goal is during a temp league, is to, I usually try to go for 40 out of 40. You can see I've gotten it a few times now, looks like 5 times. Well, let's just say that I don't always succeed. I call this my pile of shame that is looked over by Rog here. Challenges are often the end game goal of any temp league. It's called a challenge league for a reason. So I just want to spend a few minutes today with y'all talking about what my approach to the challenges is going to be. And if you like this content and you like to support the channel, you can like and subscribe below. All right, let's get over to it. Too long didn't watch, I would just direct you to Viron. Hopefully I said their name correctly. Their guide here, they even, a shout out, they have a Patreon and everything. Spectacular guide. I actually haven't read through the whole thing, but I did peruse the first few challenges here, and it is very, very well written. I did find this on a Reddit post here. I will link both of these in the description below. It looks like there's over 90 people looking at this guide right now, so there's some attention on it. This will get you basically everything that you really want. But I want to talk a little bit more about my approach here, my personal feelings on these challenges, and maybe put a little bit of flavor on it. So the big difference this league is, while we do still have 40 challenges, you'll notice that there are a ton of different markers here for different unlocks. Usually there will be like, 4 or 5 that will just give you certain aura effects or, maybe footprints or something like that. And this one, the entire thing is an armor set. So if we take a look here, we can see that up to 24 challenges, it unlocks the overall Ophidian set with some strangely upside down wings. And if you go from 28 to 38, it's the Ophidian Lord set, which has like a whitish glow to it. Your mileage may vary on whether you actually like what that looks like. I'm going to try to stay away from too much personal judgment there. And then, as always, going from 19 to 40 challenges, you can get your Eagle Totem at the top up here. Sometimes that's what we play for. There, you'll always see people going in their hideouts. Some people will have every single potential challenge, 40 out of 40 in the past. You'll see them all lined up with a giant golden glow. I just have mine. How many have I done here? 5. Some people go all out and they want to make sure they do that every single league. And so the most important thing that I would start off telling you guys is don't get roped in too much here. Really don't get roped in here. These are just, the thing that I always want to continually emphasize is this is just a visual microtransaction. And while it can be cool to, make your character look in a way that, makes you happy and embodies what you, you feel like your character should look like, it is just aesthetics. These are just pixels. These are just flags in a database that don't matter. And, 10 years down the line, even having a bunch of, at least for me, I like having the totems. It feels cool to say that I've done 40 out of 40. I like having those accomplishments. It isn't everything. It's not literally game-changing or life-changing. And what I'm always going to encourage is, let's plan this out. We'll spend a few minutes talking about it. If there's certain breakpoints that just seem like, it doesn't fit into your lifestyle, don't do it, please. Like, it is just pixels in a video game. These are methodologies that companies use to get you to play a game longer, even if you might not want to be playing, those daily rewards and all that type of stuff. All right, as always, there's a bunch of throwaway freebies that we can basically ignore. Learning the ropes, purchase a vendor, equip an item with 4 links, yada, yada. Use your Sentinels, pretty self-explanatory. Use it against a rogue exile, act boss, rare monster. Hopefully that's easy enough. You can figure it out. Complete vendor recipes. You can see I don't do these very much. And in the guide here, very, very nicely, I'm just always going to direct you towards the guide. Pair of boots with a Quicksilver Flask and an Augment. Orb of Chance is the same thing as the Chaos or Exalted Shard recipe, but just lower level. And a unique item. There's a couple of these recipes, but the Sharktooth Arrow Quiver one here will be the easiest. This will give you the upgraded Hiri's Quiver. And the skill gem, you can always do the Blink Arrow, Mirror Arrow skill gem recipe right here. Very, very simple. Defeat the act bosses. Hopefully that's not too bad for you. Complete regular encounters, pretty self-explanatory. Use your Sentinels. So this one, most of these, if you just do the Sentinels, will come naturally. You just want to pick up, everything from Rusted all the way up to Obsidian here. Unique base types are Ancient, Primeval, and Cryptic. And then Cosmic is a unique one that will show up. You just got to get a bunch of those, breed a bunch of Sentinels, and they'll eventually show up. Worst case, you can just buy them off the market. Defeat more act bosses, defeat magic or rare monsters, defeat breach encounters. Most of these just happen if you do breach. We have the Atlas tree here. We have a lot of breach nodes that, not too bad, can give you a ton of breach. Breach, I believe, is also on the map device. And worst case, there's also breach scarabs. So you just want to be mapping a ton. You know, as always with these challenges, they usually ask you to do a lot of maps. I should probably just put breach on my map device here so I can get this. Do 100 breaches, no big deal. Defeat Chayula outside of its domain. That means you have to encounter it in a map. Just pure RNG, just do as many maps as possible. If you want to have a higher chance of that, you can use sextants. You can buy the charged compass with the sextant that says all breaches are dominated by Chayula, but that really shouldn't be necessary. You know, if you're doing 100 breaches, Chayula should probably just show up. Defeat Zesht Ula. Zesht Ula will show up right here. There we go. Call of Zesht Ula. So Zesht Ula is the combination. They took a part of the name of every single breach lord, put it together, and we have Zesht Ula. So what this does is it just says that is a unique new breach lord that they added just a patch or two ago that can drop breach stones of every single breach type. 2% chance to get the actual boss. Obviously, you just spec it as pure RNG, do a lot of breaches, hope it shows up. I don't think that this should be too hard, but as always with these challenges, the intention is that you play, you know, a lot, right? So Possessed Rogue Exiles. This one is pretty easy, actually. So what you want to do is Ruckus, have an 8% chance to contain 20 Rogue Exiles. And then Exiled Will. Rogue Exiles are possessed by a tormented spirit. And then on top of that, you can get Infused Anarchy here, which is a Harvest Craft, which gives you 12 additional Rogue Exiles. And I believe we have regular Anarchy for 3, no matter what, on the map device. This should show up pretty easily. You could probably get this in about a day. Just take all of these nodes here and you know, put Anarchy on your map. Unfortunately, Rogue Exiles do have an awful drop pool, so you're not going to get too much there. You can see that I've not really gotten any here. So essence monsters, open 150 essences, defeat an essence monster which has at least 4 rare modifiers. That's actually pretty common right now. If you really want to make that more common, you can take Valley of Darkness, which I've been running just to get an additional rare modifier on every single rare. Makes that a little bit more consistent. Defeat an essence monster that has 8 essences in an area level of 80 or higher. That basically is just, you know, take as many of these things that you can so that the essences will have, you know, each essence has the chance to have even more. Just take all of the essence nodes. Probably within just a few days, you should be able to get most of those challenges. And then I never got this one, though. Defeat an essence that has at least 2 of the special ones. So Hysteria, Horror, Delirium, and Insanity, those only show up from Corrupting with a Remnant of Corruption. So you're going to want to run a lot of essences. So every time you see purple, here we go. Meds is what people say: Misery, Envy, Dread, and Scorn. These are the 4 that will then turn into the 4 special ones. And so you use a Remnant of Corruption on those, and then they'll get corrupted and create the special ones. Combining Sentinels, just combine as many as you can. Eventually, you'll hit all of these. Use a Power Core, get a special base, get 6 modifiers, and get a unique one. Those will just show up eventually. Domination encounters. Complete each of the following targets while affected by the Covetous Shrine buff. So the Covetous Shrine buff is up here. That is all that glitters. You have a 10% chance for a shrine in your map to be the Covetous Shrine. Gives you quant and rarity, but also makes you take more damage. If you take all of the shrine nodes, right, which I generally do, I just didn't have room for Covetous right now. I usually do have Covetous. Your shrines will last about 1.5 minutes, and it wants you to, you know, hit that Covetous Shrine, and then while you're affected by it, do these encounters. Kill a map boss, kill an essence monster, Delirium boss, Metamorph, Breach boss in the wild, and Shaper or Elder Guardian. I think the Delirium one might be the hardest because you just gotta... Delirium and Breach, really. I think those are probably the hardest, right? Because it's just absolute dumb luck. You're gonna want to find a Covetous Shrine and then find one of those guys. The easiest one will probably just be like a Shaper Guardian, right? You can plan that out however you want. It is going to be a little annoying and very RNG based, right, to hit. Metamorph encounters, Metamorph with 5 unique body parts, Metamorph with 5 different rare modifiers, Metamorph and a Rogue Metamorph within 5 seconds of each other, and a Metamorph in Tane's laboratory. So, you know, these 3, very, very self-explanatory if you've done any Metamorph at all. The Rogue Metamorph one, you might not know about the Rogue Metamorph. It's this guy right here. Your maps have a 20% chance to contain a rogue metamorph, which is just fully already composed metamorph that is going to be wandering around your map. They are the uber bosses. They are super charged up. They are very, very scary. Very few people actually want to do rogue metamorphs, and especially with Arch Nemesis, I think they are going to be extra scary. So as with all of these, hardcore is going to be very hardcore. Yeah, so we have metamorph both on the map device and as Scarab. And then with all of these, if you want to force something on the map device, as always, you can take all of these nodes that you can turn stuff off. Make sure that you just leave on the one thing that you really, really care about, or like, the 2 or 3 things you care about. And I'm a big fan of stream of consciousness. I am getting the content that I want to see basically every single map, like to the point where I'm annoyed by how much I'm getting the content I want to do, which is kind of funny. Harvest encounters. Yeah, Harvest RNG is bad, man. So number 1 recommendation is, if this is going to be one of the ones that I would recommend buying off of TFT, if you are comfortable farming currency. I have no idea how much people are selling this for right now. Harvest bosses, I know sometimes you can see multiple in the league. Up until recently, I had every single harvest node. Right now, I just have bumper crop. But I did have every single harvest node until just a day or 2 ago. I've been mapping pretty hard, and I haven't seen a single harvest boss yet. It's just that RNG. It's a pain in the butt. That's one of those ones I would recommend buying off of TFT if you can. Harvest the Heart of the Grove. That just means you kill Oshabi using the Sacred Blossom. You can buy a Sacred Blossom. I bought one for 1 Exalt at the beginning of the league and did it myself. Price will go up as the league goes on, so everyone can share it. So you could go in with a few friends, save a lot of money, buy it off TFT for the completion, something like that. Sacrifice a stack of 4 div cards to receive double that amount back. Just take something really, really easy and cheap that has a very, very high stack. Like Anarchy's price here, right? Anything that has a gigantic stack that, is very easy to put in that many. And then harvest 7 crops in a single Sacred Grove. So that's a lot of RNG, basically bumper crop here in combination with Heart of the Grove for some to not wilt. And then that way you can get 7 in 1. As I said, I've been playing pretty hard, and I had all of these nodes until just yesterday. And apparently, I never got 7 in a single map. Completing Delirium encounters. All right. Defeat a map boss while delirious. Hope that should be pretty easy. 200 splinters from a single mirror. You kind of just need a build that can do it. Or you can buy the completion, right? Buy it from someone else that can do it. You just trail behind them, and they'll give you the completion there. That might be what you have to do. Complete 100% Delirious Tier 16 map, which it has at least 4 modifiers. Shouldn't be too bad. All that really means, right, is rush straight to the boss. Take some very, very easy boss, Atoll or something, right, where you can just throw something a screen away, never take damage. Even a very weak build should be able to do that. And then Wave 30 Simulacrum, you either need a build that can do it. This is very, very easy to buy the completion. I think people were selling this for 30 chaos early on, might be up to an Exalt now. But yeah, that's a thing that Simulacrum farmers are doing to get a little bit more currency themselves. All right, user combinators. Combine a 6-link item with an item that has an essence mod. Combine a corrupted item with a synthesis item. Combine a fractured item with a split item. And combine an influence item with an item that has an abyssal socket. The nice thing about this challenge is the output doesn't matter. There's 0 RNG. Just take one of those bases, and these things drop like candy. The 2 unique things here are something with an abyssal socket. You can do that with hollow fossils to put abyssal sockets on something. They should be pretty cheap. And then the other one is Split. That is with the Phenomal Plagued Arachnid in the Menagerie. That is a Beastcraft. Or you can just buy a Split item for very, very cheap off of the trade site. Use Eldritch Altars. Okay. This one, a little scary if you are in hardcore. Activate Searing Exarch Altars with Wrath of the Cosmos activated, and Eater of Worlds Altars with Eldritch Gaze. So that's these guys. Eldritch Gaze right here, and Wrath of the Cosmos here. You can see I actually did quite a few of these. But you'll notice I unspec'd Wrath of the Cosmos because it is very, very rippy. Great drops, but this is what killed Ziz. This is what killed Ziz and made him very sad. He took a day. Ziz didn't stream for a day. Crazy because of this node here. When you click on an altar, you take 25% increased damage for each altar. If you click 4 altars, you are taking double damage across the board for the rest of that map. Your character, it doesn't matter how tanky it is, will just get randomly deleted. And then the other one, Eldritch Gaze, similarly not as rippy, but Eldritch Altars have an additional downside. So not only, you're gonna just see a bunch of blue text when you see the altars, it's gonna double up on all those downsides, but the upsides are 50% better. So if normally it would say 2% chance for, map currency item, now it says 3% chance for map currency item. So very, very good there. And if you combine both of those, which is what I was doing before, you'll get a ton, a ton of really good drops, but your character will die a lot. Not hard at all, but you will use a lot of portals. Be careful in hardcore. Defeat a tier 16 map boss in a rare map after having activated at least 6 Searing Exarch altars. If you're mapping a lot, you have those allocated. Make sure you got your Cast on Death portal. That will happen eventually. Oh my god, and we are like not even halfway done. There's so many. Oh my god. All right, let's speed up here a little bit. Complete each of the following invitations while you have at least 5 modifiers and Height of Hubris. I actually did a couple of these. Look at this. The Twisted, the Hidden, and the Elder Slayers. So, Height of Hubris is this guy right here. 100% increased effect of modifiers on your invitations. Be careful about this. Know when you have this and when you don't have this, because you might brick an invitation. Defeat Uber Shaper, defeat Uber Cortex, power up all 3 Sentinel slots, reach 30 power units. That will just happen if you play Sentinel. All 3 power units is all 3 of these. I'm not using Apex right now. I'm just going all in on blue and red, but you just got to power it once and you're done with the challenge there. Complete unique maps. Apparently I'm missing Vinctar and Doriani's. Whoops. All right, so we got to do those. Perfect Storm, Uber Cirrus. Uber Maven, I haven't fought her yet, but I've heard she's not too bad. Empowered Encounters. 50 empowerment in an area level 80 or higher on a map boss. Empowerment is just doing this stuff. You can, you want to roll up your really big Sentinels that will have extra empowerment on the, you can roll for increased empowerment on the monsters and makes them that much stronger. So yeah, you want to do this on the Delirium boss, Breach boss, Metamorph, and a map boss. Thirst for Knowledge, this is Uber Exarch. Same thing with Eater Worlds. He doesn't look too bad either, although the laser phase looks a little BS. Atlas Grinds, activate a bunch of altars and defeat Witness map. Oh god, I have to do all 3 of these? Okay. Good thing I'm going to the Eater Worlds a little bit more, and I gotta, not too bad, right? I have barely even tried to do any Maven Witnesses. I'm like 25% done with this whole thing right now, considering we're only a week and a half in. That's not too bad, but something to pay attention to, right? You don't want to feel like you're almost done and then have like no Maven Witnesses and you're like, oh, I gotta do 200 of those in a row. Conditional Shaper. So the cool thing here is none of these are Uber bosses. So this is just the regular one. So Maven Witness Shaper, it is annoying. Use your logout macro without being hit by the beam, without detonating anomalies, and while both of you are chilled, which is kind of cute. So self-chill, you can do something like equip Call the Void here, as long as you don't have anti-chill on your character. This will do it for you. So that's an option. Complete 8 mod Blight Ravage map. Your build can either do it or it can't. You might want to buy that if you have to. Hopefully that gets a little bit easier when they nerf those Arch Nemesis Juggernaut mods next week. Defeat an Expedition unique boss in an area level of 81 or higher. Yeah, just do a bunch of logbooks or buy the completion. Shouldn't be too bad. Defeat 10 unique bosses in the Domain of Timeless Conflict with at least 4 unrelenting. Holy cow. That sounds pretty challenging. That'll be an interesting challenge. I'm looking forward to giving that a shot, actually. That might be something you want to buy from a carry. And then defeat all the Crystal King. I've heard that he is significantly more common these days, so I wouldn't stress that out too much. I've heard from a lot of people in guild chat that they've seen him pretty often, so I wouldn't stress that. Just delve kind of casually, and he should show up, or just buy the completion. Conditional Black Star, 80% quant, without gaining too many stacks of either side, so you're just going to want to stay in the middle, ping pong left and right, while you have at least 30 stacks of Annihilating Light, and without getting any stacks of Crushing Darkness. Wow, that sounds a little tricky. And vice versa, only Crushing Darkness and not Annihilating Light. So you basically want to start the fight in one side and just stay on that side the entire time. That's going to be a little scary. Either be comfortable doing that in the fight or buy it from someone. And that's what I'm going to be saying for all of these, right? Same thing with Infinite Hunger, without being hit, with having 50 stacks, without gaining 21 or more stacks, and having been pulled 3 times. I've heard people just been kind of hitting their logout macro to do this one. Searing Exarch conditionally, without being affected by Cauterized Flesh, after completing Rolling Meteors without being hit, while he's below 20% health, and without using travel skills. That's a pretty fun one, and without being hit by Annihilation. Eater of Worlds, after beginning to drown at least 10 times, without being affected by more than 10 stacks of Inescapable Doom, and 70% increased AoE. Well, the AoE is going to be a little scary on that guy, but those don't look too bad at all, actually. Empowered map bosses. So those are actually from these types of guys, these special sentinels that are unique. These are actually the unique Sentinels that I've made through my my breeding program so far. And so you just got to find which boss that is and do that boss with that that unique Sentinel. Looks like they also have to be 8 mod tier 16 maps as well. So that's going to be a little bit tricky. I imagine the loot is going to be out of control. My friend actually sent me some pictures of some of the loot that he's gotten, and it's been pretty wild. So yeah, that's a unique challenge there. And I would actually recommend buying up those Sentinels ASAP before they get expensive. As always with challenges, the things for completing challenges, the price goes up further and further as, you know, as people are playing only for challenges and not for, you know, putting together builds and all that. So, you know, with all of these, you know, always planning ahead and actually like buying up all the stuff that you're going to care about right away will go a long way to saving a lot of currency. And then later on, if you're sitting on that stuff, you can sell it when it appreciates. Conditional Uber Elder, 3 propagators within 5 seconds without being hit by the beam, without detonating, and then after detonating 20 or more. So clearly you have to do this at least a couple times. None of these seem too crazy. The 3 madness propagators, those are the octopus that drop the horrible degens. That's actually the worst part about Uber Elders, those degens. So you're gonna have to leave a couple of those alive and then kill them all right away, and then you can finish it. Maven conditionally, not being hit by Cascade of Pain. Log out macro. After completing the memory game 5 times, hopefully you're good at that. Maven's punishment is that debuff that doesn't let you regen. That's what the lasers during the last memory phase are. Right before you kill Maven, just hit the lasers and finish her off. And without being affected by gravity well, apparently I did that. That is the degen from the 3 balls that the brain goes out that you want to pop the balls. That's the gravity well, so just, you know, pop them and get the heck out right away. And then endgame grinds. I did one of these already accidentally. Defeat 4 mod rare monsters in tier 16 maps. That just happened very, very easily. I think I got that just a couple days into the league. Level 100, if I'm going to do 40 out of 40, that is one that I usually go for. Traditionally, you know, I'll get to like level 97 and then I'll buy 5 ways. I don't know what 5 ways look like these days with, you know, the head under nerf and all that. So we'll see what that looks like. Use the divine font in the endgame labyrinth. No shot am I doing 250 labs. So that's not going to happen. Defeat Uber bosses. 100 Uber bosses is quite a bit. Yeah, we'll have to think on that one. Reach depth level 600. Since I am now playing this build, this Caster Kit for Bent Right Occultist, you know, I'm not anywhere close to being done, but this is shaping up to be a very tanky build. And once it's fully put together, it will be very, very tanky. I think depth 600 should be within the realm of accomplishment for me. What I'm looking at right now is level 100, the 4 mods, depth 600, and then defeat tier 16 bosses with at least 50 empowerment. Apparently, I only have done that 4 times so far, but I think that one seems that seems easier than 100 Uber bosses. So that's what I'm leaning towards personally. Usually endgame grinds, right, is like the hardest grindy one, but that doesn't seem too bad to me right now. That was much longer than I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be like a 10-minute video. With all of that said, you know, I don't want to put any extreme subjectivity on you guys for, you know, how I feel about these challenges. I play this game full time. Obviously, the grindier ones are going to be easier for me than it might be for you. The conditional ones, I think I would strongly encourage you to plan ahead, right? Look at all of these. Just pick what you're comfortable doing, right? Like make a list of all of them. Put a check mark or a cross out, you know, based on whether you're planning to do them. Buy the stuff ASAP for the ones that you want to do. Look at the going price on the Forbidden Trove or any other place that might be selling challenges, you know, maybe Global 813, something like that. Just see what feels good for you, what clicks for you. Plan out exactly what you want to do and, you know, think what you're going to do for buying from other people, what you're going to go for yourself, and, you know, set up what you're happy doing. As always, with everything, if you don't want to do it, just don't do it, right? It's just challenges. It's just pixels in a silly little computer game. Don't sacrifice your life for any of that. All right, that's it for me today. I'm going to go get ready for the stream. Don't forget to have fun, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye.